the defense. The case is called as Nagara case. When the pensioners all over the world are facing many attacks on their rights and privileges, the importance of the observing of the day has also increased. Before coming to the details of the Nagara case, let us look back about the history of the pension and how connected development has taken place. The idea of pension and payment was started in the early 19th century. Of course, certain methods of rewarding the civilian and military officials, mainly by granting them lands or other assets, were there during the period of the kings, the Mughals, and others. That was at the will and pleasure of the king, not as a right. British Parliament passed Superannuation Act in 1810, 2 centuries back. It was modified in 1934 for grant of civil pensions, civil servants in Britain. Social Security pension started after an act passed in 1946. In the USA, pension started in 1920, this century. Pensioners Act was passed in British India. In 1871. The pension according to the Act was being given to the civil servants according to the will and pleasure of the officers. Mainly they were British officers who supported them, who did act upon their pleasure. They were only being given the pension. It was a gift for supporting the British rule. The 1917 revolution and the formation of Soviet Union in Russia, the First and Second World Wars, in which crores of military and civilians were killed, consequent importance of seniors resulted in a new approach. In Europe, almost all young people, youth were killed who were in the army. Mainly, there were the senior people, and the importance of senior people pensioners increased. Consequent importance of seniors resulted in a new approach to the pensioners and pension. Instead of gift being given at the mercy of the rulers, pension became to be considered as a means of economic support and a social security measure for the service rendered during the heyday of their life, the interest of the country. The family's pension started in 1950. I have a remembrance of a family pension which I was able to give to a family pensioner in the 1960s. It was a family of a sub-inspector, that is a line inspector in the telephones. But a few records were available. He retired in 1946. But in 1966, after getting all the records and approaching the administration, we were able to get the family pension for his family. The government of India, independent India, continued the British legacy on pension. And no timely action to modify the same was taken to the requirement of the system. They were simply continuing whatever the British were given. In 1946, there was a very big strike of the postal employees in which telecom workers also participated. Thereafter, the committee, the pay commission was appointed, and the first pay commission, Central Pay Commission, fixed the retirement age as 60. And the maximum pension was fixed as 675. It was no minimum pension, but the maximum pension that could be given was 675. Second pay commission did not give any recommendation. The third CPC increased the maximum amount of pension to 1,000 rupees. The historic strike of the central government employees in 1960 and 68 compelled the central government to look into the problems and the employees deeply, and certain changes were made in the grant of DA, etc. But it was only in 1979 that the central government brought a liberalized pension scheme. The maximum pension was increased from 1,000 to 1,500. There were earlier slab system in pension. That to such and such a pay, 50% will be given. After that, it will be 40%. After that, 30%. Such a slab system was there. That slab system was discontinued by the 1971 liberalized rules. Pension was granted on the basis of average 50% of the average of last 10 months, which continues now. Certain other modification was also there. The order was prospective. It was not prospective. Only those people who retired after the order was issued, they would get the benefit. Large number of employees retired before 1979 did not get any benefit. It was against this that the former financial advisor and defense ministry, Shri D.S. Nagara, and a former rear admiral of the defense, Shri Satyendra Singh, filed in petition in the Supreme Court for implementation of the liberalized pension scheme to the earlier retirees also. An NGO by name Common Cause also became a party to the petition. The immediate provocation was D.S. Nagara was getting a monthly pension of rupees 935. Satyendra Singh was getting a pension of 981. They were actually eligible to get up to a pension of 1,500 according to the new liberalized rules, but because they retired earlier and the rules were not being implemented in their case, they could not get any increase in their pension. So this was one of the points in which they raised the issue. It was liable to increase if the scheme is implemented retrospectively as also other conditions. They pointed out that the decision of the government is in violation of the provisions of the Constitution. A 5-member Constitution bench of the Supreme Court was constituted. Chief Justice Y.V. Chandrachud, who is the father of the present Chief Justice Chandrachud, Justice V.D. Tulsapurkar, Justice C.G. Desai, Justice O. Chinnappa Reddy, and Justice Barul Islam inquired in the matter and gave their historic verdict on 17th December 92. This judgment is called the Magna Carta of the pensioners because of the various comments, opinions, and judgment in favor of the pensioners. What is the importance of Nagara judgment? It is a very detailed judgment with 64 pages in which almost all the sentences are very important to the pensioners, but I will not go to all those very, very important certain points only I will introduce. One, they commented that pension is neither a bounty nor a matter of grace, depending upon the sweet will of the employer. So long in the British period, they were given as a gift, a paritoshikam, like that. No, it is not a gift. The court said it is neither a bounty given in favor nor a matter of grace, depending upon the sweet will of the employer, but it is a right. It's the right of the pensioner, subject to 1970 rules, which are statutory in character because they are enacted in exercise of powers conferred by the proviso to Article 309 and Clause 5 of Article 4 of the Constitution. Very clearly mentioned that pension is being given under these two articles, and it is a right of the pensioner, not a gift of the authorities. 2, they mention the pensioners are treated to be a class. There is no difference between who retired earlier or who retired later. The pensioners are treated to be a class, and the rules are to be implemented without considering whether they retired after or before the date of the scheme. So it is very clear. It is applicable to each and every pensioner. Third, pension is not an ex gratia payment. It is a payment for the past service rendered. You have gone on 30, 40 years service, and it is a payment for the past service. Then, it is also a social welfare measure, rendering socio-economic justice to those who, in their hair day of their life, ceaselessly toiled for the employer, on an assurance that in their old days, they would not be left in the ruts. They will not be discarded. Their issue will be taken. This was the assurance, and on that basis, pension is given. And then, how the pension is to be given? How much it should be given? There also they say a pension scheme consistent with the available resources must provide that the pensioner would be able to live free from want and decency. He would be able to purchase whatever he requires, and with decency, independence, and self-respect. Very important words. And also they stay at a standard equivalent at the pre-retirement level. How he was living when he was working, he would be able to live in that stage, and that is why pension should be according to that. Pensioners are treated to be a class, and the rules are to be implemented without considering whether they retired after or before the date of scheme. Government has argued that there is no rule that make an order at present with a retrospective effect. New order cannot be like that. They said, the justice said, new things are always coming, and such a new system has come that the old people should also get the benefit. So these are the most important part of the judgment. The judgment, because it is a constitutional bench and its decision, the government cannot go away. Now the present Modi government may try for that. But at that time, at least the constitutional validity was respected. And it has a very important impact on the government. For the first time, in the 4th Central Pay Commission, the issue of the pensioners was included in the terms of reference. CPC in 1984. And also a decision was taken. Earlier that was not there. A decision was taken. According to the cost of living, the employees are given the dearness allowance. In the same way, according to the cost of living index, the pensioners should be given the dearness relief. Slab system was changed. Earlier 50%, 40%, 30%, that was changed, and it was completely made 50% of the 10 months average salary of the employee. Pension would be revised, merging the earlier pension and DA. Just like the employees, pension, DA, wages and DA, in the same way, pension and DA. Nagara judgment had its impact on pay commission of the wages stage. Most of them were revised the pay and pension as per the guidelines of the CPC. Except very few states, almost all state government used to implement the central government Pay Commission recommendations. But there were certain other, just like West Bengal, just like Kerala and some other states, where they got their own pay commissions. And according to that, but almost everybody tried to implement this. Now, what is the condition of the pensioners after 40 years of the Nagara judgment in 1982? The debacle of the Soviet Union and the introduction of new economic policies based on liberalization, privatization, and contractization. More and more attacks are coming against the workers as well as the pensioners world over. Sustained struggles have taken place and are being organized against the attack on pension in France, Germany, England, Spain, Portugal, etc. These were detailed, presented in the NCCPA report, AAC report in Chennai. So we need not go into those details, everything is there. Government of India is also in the same path. The Bhattacharya Committee appointed in 2001 recommended contributory pension instead of defined statutory pension for employees recruited from 2004 onwards. There was a mindset in the government. Yes, the pension is being given unnecessarily. There is no production from them. Why should the think about the court judgment of 1982? They thought that this is a loss to the government. So they wanted to make it a contributory pension scheme. It is to be noted that both the Congress and the BJP, the ruling and the opposition parties, supported and passed the passing of the anti-pensioner PFRDA bill in the parliament. The defined statutory pension scheme, which is based on the Constitution of India and also supported by the judgment of the Nagara case, that was taken away. All states followed suit except the then left ruled Kerala, West Bengal, and Tripura. They were ruled by the left party. They said, no, we will not implement. But in 2013, when the UDF government came in Kerala, they changed it into the contributory pension scheme. The contributory pension scheme started. It is only in West Bengal that old pension scheme continues now. The often repeated argument of the government is that the pension amount is increasing and the government will not be able to bear the expenses. It is nothing but a lame excuse. In fact, the change is a means of providing corporates and big business maximum capital by diverting the pension fund which is created through the contributory pension. At present, they say that it will be in the Provident Fund, it will be in the EPF, but this is all humbug. Gradually, they want to put it in the share market, which can be utilized by the corporate for increasing their wealth and share markets. Though the pensions were mainly in the EPF at present, but it is only a matter of time that the funds will be diverted to the share market and capital for corporations. The vagaries of the share market are well known. At any time, the funds may vanish in the sky. A time may come, all the amount that we have deposited in the Provident Fund or other mutual funds and other things, it may go away and we will not be even getting it. What is the pension that is being got by the contributory pension scheme? The new pension scheme the government said first, then they said national pension scheme, but we say it is a no pension scheme. At present, very few people who joined the services after 2004, they started getting the pension after retirement. The information is that they are getting about 250, 2,500 or 2,600 like that only, instead of 9,000 minimum pension, which is being ensured as per the OPS idea. Half of the pension. This is the system that contributory pension scheme. So, rest of the old pension scheme is being now certain states like Punjab, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Himachal Pradesh, etc. gave election promise that the old pension scheme will be implemented in case they win the election. They tried. But restoration to old pension scheme is being torpedoed by the central government. How? They say that the amount given to the Provident EPF, Provident Fund, it cannot be given back. There is no provision in the Provident Fund rules to return that amount to the employer. And the government of India also, to a question the parliament says, these states have asked for the fund in the pension fund to be returned back to the states, but there is no provision, there is no rule, and it cannot be given back. Then how the states will implement these things? So, it is not being there. In Kerala, the left-wing government has appointed a committee with regard to the restoration of old pension scheme, and the report is being examined. The central government also appointed a committee, but it is only for making certain phase up for the new pension scheme, which we are rightly called as the no pension scheme. So it is not for bringing back the OPS. The condition of the EPF pensioners, Provident Fund pensioners, pensioners and retirees of bank, insurance, are extremely poor, since their pension and other pensionary benefits are meager. In the banks, they are given the pension at the time of retirement, half of their salary pay. No pension revision, no increase according to cost of living index. They continue to get it even after 20 years, 25 years, the same pension. In the insurance also it is similar. In the Provident Fund pensioners, who are in lakhs and lakhs or maybe crores, they are getting 500 rupees, 600 rupees as pension. There has been a provision that it should be increased to 1,000 rupees, but it has not been implemented in most of the cases. Central government pensioners under the leadership of NCCPI have organized many educational programs for the restoration of the old pension scheme, including a very massive parliament march, which the central government wanted to stop, but we did it in a very grand way that which was organized. And a submission of memorandum to the Prime Minister of India on issues, including the restoration of EPS, pension revision of BSNL pensioners with effect in 2017, pension issues of bank retirees, etc. BSNL pensioners are eligible for their pension updation or pension revision from 2017, as assured by the government of India at the time of BSNL formation. But even after 2008, no pension revision, 2007, no pension revision has taken place for the pensioners there. A 2 days dharna and Sanjarva in March on 24th and 25th of November 2003. The Confederation of Central Government Employees and Workers, and who has got 67 lakhs of pensioners, and All India State Government Employees Federation, which has got crores of pensioners, jointly organized a massive rally at Ramlila grounds on 3rd December 2023, participated by lakhs of workers on the demand of restoration of OPS. Intended to restore the old pension scheme, but the government is keeping silence. It has no difficulty in writing of lakhs of crores of rupees for the corporates like Ambani and Adani. There is no difficulty for them reducing drastically the super tax, etc. This is a government of the corporates and the big business, and not for the workers and the pensioners. The general elections are going to come in the new year 2024. This is also going to be a period of struggle for the working class and the pensioners. Comrade Shivagopal Mishra, in his president address, has already pointed out that in the staff side meeting, they have told the government that if the pension is not revised, old pension scheme is not brought, then there will be a strike either in the first week or last week of February 2023. Also, educational programs will be organized in January in 2023. It is in this context that we are observing the 41st anniversary of the historic Nagara judgment, which will inspire us for further struggle to advance the cause of the crores of pensioners in the country. Let us be prepared for the same. Some comrades may be suggesting whether any action against the Boni government will win. They have got the majority. They will suppress the workers. They will suppress the pensioners. But there is an example. The lakhs and lakhs of Kisans, they went on struggle for more than 1 year against the 3 anti-Kisan laws passed by the parliament. And after 1 year, they have been able to make the government, compel the government to cancel the 3 acts in the parliament itself. That is the strength of the agitation of the Kisan workers. Now the lakhs and crores of workers in the country will be able to go and struggle in the same way and compel the government to restore the old pension scheme and also improve the pension scheme of the EPF, EPF and Provident Fund and public sector, other public sector pensioners. Thanks to the leadership of the NCGPA for organizing the seminar. Thanks to all our leaders and workers who are participating and is part of this web seminar. Thank you, comrade. Thank you.
Comrade President Gupta ji, I would like to thank Comrade Nambudiri for his presentation in this webinar. He narrated all the details of the Nakara case and we are thankful to him. Before presenting the recorded speech, video speech of Comrade Sri Kumar, the other speaker, I would like to add 1 or 2 points to the meeting. Number 1, the spirit of the Nakara judgment is, number 1, we say that the pension is not a bounty. Pension is not a gift. But today, you can see the bank settlement, wage settlement of the banks. There they speak that an ex gratia will be paid to the pensioners of the banking industry, and what will be the quantum of that ex gratia will be discussed further. This is very clear that the present government wants to pour water in the Nakara judgment. Nakara judgment has clearly told that pension is not a gratuity. Pension is not a bounty. Pension is not a gift. But today, the present government is treating the bank pensioners that they will be given after some time, after discussion, what will be the quantum of ex gratia. The very purpose of giving ex gratia to the banking pensioners without any other benefit, that ex gratia amount will be an exclusive amount. It will not be counted for dearness allowance also. So the giving ex gratia is a dilution of the Nakara judgment. Number 2, the spirit of Nakara judgment is that the same class of pensioners cannot be divided, as Comrade V.A. Nambudiri has clearly told, that the pensioners who belong to the same class cannot be separated into past and present. But today, we can see the NPS. NPS is introduced from 1/1/2004 to the central government employees. The NPS is also a violation of Nakara judgment, I will say. For example, all the central government employees are given the same pay scale. Whatever cadre, the same pay scale. And they have got the same MSCP upgradation. They are given the same dearness allowance formula. Everything is same. Bonus also same. But when it comes to the question of pension, the employees are divided into pre-1/1/2004 and after 1/1/2004. The employees who are recruited after 1/1/2004 are not given pension from the exchequer, but on the other hand, 10% of the basic pay and year's allowance is recovered from the employees, and that has been converted into savings and invested in the share market, and from the annuity, finally, the pension is paid. So this is a clear violation. This is a clear violation of the Nakara judgment. So the two major aspects, namely the pension is not a bounty, and number two, pension should be given as a matter of right that has been violated in the banks, and also you cannot divide the same class of pensioners into two sections, namely pre and post of a particular date. But the NPS implemented mainly because of violating this class. So I can say that the present government and the past government both are same feathers. They try to sabotage the Nagara judgment, but the real what we should do, not only that we should distribute sweets, not only that we can celebrate Nagara and remember Nagara, but the judgment tenets are being destroyed by the successive governments of the center and the states. So we should take a pledge that we will stand together, and all pensioners association will join together, and we will defend the tenets of the Nagara judgment, and see that the Nagara judgment is well protected of all the tenets of that judgment. With these words, I would like to thank Comrade Nambudri for his able speech, and I would like to now I will telecast the video from Comrade Sri Kumar, and during the telecast I request all comrades to be patient and observe the video, and finally we can meet again, and after the Sri Kumar speech we will meet again and conclude the meeting. Thank you, comrades.
बोलो नहीं बोलते कोई काम है अरे आपको कोई होगा तो आप किसी नाम दिखलाए काम कोई फोटो को नहीं है अरे वो नाम ये ठाकुर अरे आप मैं व्हाट्सएप में दिख लो जोशी रखता
साउंड नहीं है
Comrade, 1 second.
No voice, please.
1 second, 1 second. Comrade, I can put the video, but there is no sound. I have to, there is a, I have to unmute it.
Ready?
Comrade, please, I will make you, are you in the meeting? Why don't you sign in the meeting? I can make you a co-host. Okay.
उसमें मदन के
Please, sir. Please.
ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು
I am thankful to Comrade Raghavendra for giving me this opportunity to place my views on the occasion of the Pensioners' Day, which is being celebrated by the pensioners and the pensioners associations and their federations on the 17th of December every year. I am also thankful that our veteran comrade Nambudiri is also available here to place his views, his experience of more than 60 years in the trade union movement and the pensioners movement, about the difficulties, about the problems, about the achievements and about the rights of the pensioners of our country. At the outset, I, on behalf of myself, on behalf of the All India Defence Employees Federation, the All India Trade Union Congress, AITUC, the mother trade union of our country, and also on behalf of the World Federation of Trade Unions, convey my warm greetings to the pensioners on the occasion of Pensioners Day. 17th December is a very important day so far as the pensioners are concerned.
ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ
In fact, the historical judgment delivered by the bench chaired by the then Chief Justice of India, Justice Chandrachud. The pensioners and the government employees cannot forget the importance of that judgment. It is through that judgment the Supreme Court has very clearly come to a conclusion, and a clear message has been given to the governments and the employers that pension is a fundamental right of any retired person, especially with regard to the government employees.
Please
Even though all
carry
of
on.
you know
Please
the
carry on. I'm not able to hear.
context of
You're not
that
able to hear.
judgment, I want to read out the relevant portion of that judgment so that we should continue to remember that, which will be useful for us in our future struggle to protect the pension rights for the existing pensioners and to fight for the pension right to those employees, central government, state government, teachers, those who were recruited on or after 1/1/2004 and who are suffering under the draconian NPS, the National Pension System, which generally we call as the new pension system. The Honorable Supreme Court, in its judgment on the 17th of December 1982, in the case of late D.S. Nakara, who, even though being a Group A officer, the financial advisor to the Defence Ministry, and All India Service Office of the Indian Defence Accounts and Audit Service, it was he, with the help of others, who fought up to Supreme Court and got the right of the pensioners established. And the judgment says pension is neither a bounty nor a matter of grace depending upon the sweet will of the employer, nor an ex gratia payment. It is a payment of the past services rendered. It is a social welfare measure rendering socio-economic justice to those in the heyday of their life, ceaselessly toiled for the employer on an assurance that in their old age they would not be left in the lurch. Each and every word of this judgment is very important for the employees and equally the pensioners. The judge, as the Chief Justice of India, has categorically told that the government employees, after all, the conduct rule says that we are all 24 hours government employees. We are governed under so many conduct rules which generally is not applicable to the other employees of the public sector or private sector. The government employees are 24 hours government employees. Hundreds of conditions are imposed on them. So, the only source of income for the government employees while in service is only their wages, what they get from the government. They cannot do a part-time work. They cannot even become an agent of LIC. They cannot become an agent of the post office savings scheme. So that means the 30 years and 35 years of service, whatever a government employee renders for the people of the country, for the nation, it is only the salary. The salary is the only source of income for them. And with that, they have to live a decent and a dignified retired life. They have to, even in service, to take care of the children's education, the medical care, constructing a small house or purchasing a 2-bedroom flat, purchasing a two-wheeler. So all these things they have to manage from the salary whatever they get. And at the fag end of the service, one has to, in our Indian system, one has to arrange for the marriage of the children. So with all these financial burdens while in service, when somebody retires, he retires with nil savings. Majority of them, at least employees at the level of Group C, when they retire with the nil savings. So ultimately, only the pension, the component of pension, that is the only income for them for their survival. Joint family systems are collapsed in our country. Now no more joint family system. So in that situation, children are not with the parents. Many of the government employees' children, personally I know, they are in abroad. They come once in 3 years or 4 years to the country. Even in India, they are not in the same station where the pensioner are settled. They are living in far off places. And they have got their own commitments. They have to see their own family. So in that situation, at the old age, pension is the only protection. And that is why Supreme Court has told it is the right of the pensioner to claim pension. And so far as India is concerned, pension is nothing new. Even though the statutory rule of CCS pension rule 1972 came into force during the year 1972. Even prior to that, in 1871, the Britishers have passed the Indian Pension Act. Indian Pension Act in 1871, it was passed by the British. Only thing, it has given the privilege to the viceroy or the governor to make the pension. The government employees, when they retire, they were under the pleasure of the governor or the viceroy, because they have to sanction the pension. So that was the thing, but pension was there. For the government employees, following the British pattern, the British government introduced a pension, maybe with some conditions. So that is why pension is our right. It is not a gift or ex gratia being given by the government. But unfortunately, for the past 2 decades, under the dictates of the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, and of course the neoliberal economic policies being followed all over the world, that impact has come on the pension of the government employees also. The so-called economists and those who are in power as ministers, as prime minister, as the members of the previously planning commission, now the Nidhi Ayog, all these people have started speaking that pension is a burden on the government, which means pensioners are a liability. And the unfortunate part is all these people who are propagating against the defined and guaranteed pension for the government employees, they themselves are getting the defined and guaranteed pension only. The persons who passed the PFRDA bill in the parliament, they are the honorable MPs. And these MPs, without any contribution, they are eligible for pension. The President of India, on whose name the orders are issued, President of India is also eligible for pension after retiring from 5 years from the post of the President of India. So similarly, the members of the legislative assemblies, all our elected representatives are eligible for pension, and that too without any contribution. We don't have any grudge against that. But our problem is that why we should contribute for our pension. We have served for the country and we are 24 hours government employees. Anytime the government calls us, we have to go and do the work. Any misconduct happened after the office hours, for that also disciplinary action is taken against the employees on the plea that even after office hours, you continue to retain the status as a government employee. So you have done this misconduct, so you will be penalized, you will be charge sheeted, action will be taken against you. So when that is the case, after retirement, according to WHO report, the average age, the Indians' average age is now 70 years. Maybe government employees, because of little bit of health consciousness, health care and all those things, their longevity may be 72 or 73 years. How many years the government is going to pay pension? Maximum 12 to 13 years. And thereafter maybe for another 5 or 6 years for the spouse as family pension. Can this be treated as a liability by the government? Can this be treated as a burden by the government? But unfortunately that is what is happening. The government says that it's a liability. Recently in one of the reply given in the parliament, the government themselves have told that the pensioners, the family pensioners who receive pension from the consolidated fund of Government of India, including the defense ex-serviceman pensioners, it is hardly 68 lakh, not even a crore out of 140 crores population in our country. The government is paying pension from its corpus, its treasury, only to about 68 lakh pensioners. Out of this 68 lakh, almost 50% is ex-serviceman. Those who retire at an younger age, after serving in the borders in minus 40 degrees, in minus 50 degrees, in terrains, in deserts, in the border of the country, protecting our country. So naturally they retire at a lesser younger age than the civilian employees. So including the ex-serviceman, the pensioners from the armed forces, it is only 68 lakhs according to the statistics given by the government in the parliament. Maybe state government employees, state government pensioners all put together maybe around at the most 2 crores. So not even 3 crores pensioners are available in this country, and the entire attack is against them. And on that ground only, the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government in 2003 arbitrarily, without discussing with the trade unions, without discussing in the National Council JCM, arbitrarily announced that from 1st January 2004, the guaranteed and defined pension under CCS Pension Rule 1972 will not be available for the government employees, and they have to contribute 10% of their basic pay and DA for pension after their retirement. And subsequently, the PFRDA, the Pension Fund Regulatory Development Authority Act, was also passed, which was supported by BJP, Congress, everybody other than the left parties and few regional parties. They only opposed. So today what is the situation? Initially when it was introduced with a lot of fanfare. The pension fund of the government employees will be invested in the market, in the share market. 10 rupees share of Reliance company is now 1800 rupees. So pension, the employees who are in NPS after retirement will get lakhs of rupees as pension. But what is the fact today? Now it is 20 years after introduction of this NPS. What is the pension the NPS employees are getting? 2000, 2500, 3000. So can a two-member family survive, that too at the ripe age after 60 years, with the 2000 rupees, with 3000 rupees? And how many of the pensioners are having their own house? Whether government is having these statistics? But we know more than 60% of the pensioners, they are still living in rented houses. They don't have their own house. While in service, at least they are eligible for house rent allowance. But after retirement, nothing. So with the 2000 rupees, 3000 rupees pension, will they be able to give the house rent allowance? Will they be able to sustain in the escalating price rise of the food commodities and all other essential items? And majority of the employees are not having CGHS facilities. Central government employees, I am telling. Central government employees only in some 85 or 86 cities or districts are having this CGHS. Our demand, the recommendation of the Parliamentary Standing Committee, that every district should have a CGHS wellness center and more private hospitals should be empanelled. The government is not accepting. And this paltry 1000 rupees, 2000 rupees, whatever the government give us fixed medical allowance, is it enough for take care of the medical requirement of the pensioner and the spouse? These things the government doesn't bother. So therefore, when we are celebrating the Pensioners' Day, the judgment of the Supreme Court, which has upheld that the pension is the fundamental right of the government employees, that is under attack. The NPS employees, right from IAS officers down below, they are all worried about their future. What will happen to them? How they will be able to survive with this paltry amount of pension, NPS. So therefore it is a very big challenge before us. And if somebody goes through the PFRDA Act, there is a provision which many must not have noticed. It empowers the government to bring even the existing pension scheme under the NPS. That means even the defined and guaranteed today's pension scheme, if the government wants, they can bring it under the coverage of NPS. This empowerment has been given to the government by the PFRDA. That is why when we say that the PFRDA Act should be scrapped, many criticize. You demand for old pension scheme, that is all right. But why are you demanding for PFRDA scrapping? That is applicable for each and every worker of this country, whether organized, unorganized, private or public. We are opposing because this provision is very cleverly incorporated by the government in the PFRDA, that if the government wants, anytime they can convert any pension scheme under the NPS. So these are all the dangers before us. Even the Parliamentary Standing Committee, which has recommended so many things for the pensioners, to increase the pension after every 5 years, instead of waiting up to 80 years. Every 5 years the pension has to be increased. That also government has rejected. The judgment of the High Court that what is 80 years? 80 years means somebody completes 79 and enter 80 years. Somebody attained the age of 80. Then the 20% has to be given. But the government says, no, you have to complete 80 years and enter 81 year, then only you will get the 20% back. Similarly, the employees, after 6 pay commission, the date of increment has become 1st June, 1st July. So somebody whose date of birth is 1st July and who is eligible to get increment after 12 months of satisfactory service is not given the increment. On a technical plea that on the 1st day of July you are not in service. Hundreds of court judgments have come. Supreme Court has dismissed all the SLPs filed by the government, that the employees who were retiring on the 30th of June, they all should be given notional increment on 1st July and to notionally calculate their pension and other benefits. Now after 7th CPC, 2 increment dates have come. So therefore our demand that the employees who retire in June and December and whoever is getting increment on 1st January and 1st July should be given notional increment. That is also under consideration of the government. So far no decision has been taken. Day before yesterday, that was on the 15th of December, we had a meeting of the Standing Committee of National Council JCM chaired by Additional Secretary DOP&T, where we have categorically demanded that this issue has to be settled. Commutation of pension. Now after 15 years the commutation is being given back. When the GPF interest was 12%, this 15 years was fixed. But the interest rate has come down drastically. For fixed deposit not more than 7%. Even for GPF now it is 7.1%. So the government recovers the entire amount within 11 years, 10 years and 6 months like that. But restoration is after 15 years. Many state governments have restored after 12 years. But central government still continues. Even the BJP ruled Gujarat government last year have restored the commuted portion of the pension after 13 years after retirement. So therefore, when we celebrate this Pensioners' Day, remembering the historical judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court of India, which was delivered on the 17th of December, and also remembering the late Nakaraji, who has fought for the for establishing the right of the pensioners. When we remember and when we celebrate that day, I appeal to all of you that all of us should take a pledge to protect the pension, to fight for ensuring and getting an assured guarantee pension from the government for a decent, dignified, honorable and respectful retired life. And we should also fight to scrap the NPS, to restore the old pension scheme. It is a happy news that the JFROPS, the Joint Forum for Restoration of Old Pension Scheme, an organization of the central, state government and the teachers organizations, have already taken a decision to go for an indefinite strike. And as a preparatory program for the indefinite strike, they have decided to observe hunger fast in front of all the central government and state government offices, establishments, institutions for 4 days, that is from 8th January to 11th January, and thereafter to decide the date of commencement of the indefinite strike. So therefore, the pensioners, the employees, they have all come together under one platform, under one banner, and then this battle for protecting and preserving the pension and winning over the right of the pension to those employees who are recruited after 1/1/2004 by scrapping the draconian, the hopeless NPS, and to restore the pension right and the pension under the statutory CCS Pension Rule 1972, which is now renamed as CCS Pension Rule 2021. So I once again convey my greetings to all the pensioners on the occasion of the Pensioners' Day, And thanks, and I convey my thanks to Comrade Raghavendra, who has given me this opportunity to place my views before all of you. Thank you very much.
Comrades, Comrade President, I think I have managed this video also. Thanks for all of you to remain here. And I would like to, with the permission of the President, I would like to conclude that the Pensioners' Day has been celebrated in all parts of the country by the affiliates of NCCPA. Many photos have been exhibited in the websites also. And today, on behalf of the CHQ, NCCPA, we are holding this virtual meeting also, where Comrade V.A. Nambudiri and Comrade C. Sri Kumar have deliberated on the topic also. We are thankful to them that you have enlightened us. All the comrades stand enlightened, and we take the pledge that in future also we will try to protect all the important aspects of Nakara judgment, and even we will go to the jails, and whatever be the sacrifice we have to make, we will see that the Nakara judgment is protected and it is implemented and it is carried forward. Thank you, comrades, for being with us, and I thank all the participants, and I thank all the comrades who were present here till the last minute, and because we want to complete at 5:15, but it is 5:40. Half an hour delay has occurred, and I express my sincere apology for that. It is unavoidable. But anyway, I thank all of you and close this meeting with the permission of the President. Comrade Gupta ji, can I close the meeting?
Yes. Thank
Yes,
you very much. Thank you very much to all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
sir.
comrade. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you to all.
Thank you, comrade.
Thank you.
Thank you, all comrades.
Thank you, comrade.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.